Good morning, students. Today I will start new topic, tissue culture. This is the last topic of this chapter, strategies for enhancement in food production. So in this chapter we have discussed all the strategies by which food production can be enhanced, and you know that by the traditional plant breeding programs, by the traditional methods of plant breeding, we cannot obtain the results very fast, as for getting the desired plants, for getting the traits with plants with desired traits, we had to wait for the 3-4 generations. So it gives a long time to give us the results, desired results. So means as the population is increasing very fast, so that methods that cannot be so much convenient to fulfill the need of the people. So nowadays a new method is widely used, that is the tissue culture method, for the same purpose, for obtaining the plants which will give us the desired traits. And so tissue culture, this method, it was actually developed by the scientists in the 1950s, when they came to know that cells of the plant, parts of the plants, they have the capability to grow into the complete plants. So by taking the advantage of this, that the cells can grow into a complete plant, parts of the plants can be used to grow the complete plants, tissue culture method, it was developed, and nowadays it is widely used. So in this now topic we will discuss these things. What is tissue culture? How we do tissue culture? Method means the method of tissue culture. Why it is important? Its applications, right? So first of all, you should know what is tissue culture. Tissue culture means, tissue culture is a technique where a single cell is made capable to grow into a complete plant. Means the ability of the single cell to grow into a complete plant. This is called the tissue culture. The ability is called another term, that is the totipotency. Totipotency means this term. It means the toti means total, potency means potential. Total potential of the cell which is utilized to grow a new plant, right? So tissue culture is a method which is used in vitro, means in lab conditions, to raise new plants from the single cell, right, part of that any plant. So from where we can collect these cells to give rise to new plants? We can take them from any parts, like from the roots, from the shoots, from buds, etc. All these parts of the plants, they can be used to obtain the cells, right? So the cells, and we use the cells, very new cells, apical regions we use here, because they have the ability to divide, and these cells are called the totipotent cells, right? Totipotency I discussed with you earlier, that the ability of a single cell to grow into a complete plant is called totipotency. Now I will explain this method, whole method, simply by this diagram. For example, we have this plant, right? In this plant, we can use any part, like this is terminal position of the this new flower. We can use this is a bud. We can use the apical terminal part of this bud. This is the root part. We can use this part also, right? Here I have just demonstrated by this simple diagram: root portion, bud portion, and apical flower portion, right? So these parts can be used, and these parts are called the explants, right? Now, for example, we had taken a cell from here. That cell is grown then into a medium in a test tube. We do these practicals not in the petri dishes, as usually we do the practicals, the experiments with the microorganisms in petri dishes. So in case of this tissue culture technique, we use test tubes here, because when plants will grow, then this shape of the test tube, it will be better for the growth, right? So the position of the plant, how it will grow. So this is a test tube, and this one is a cell placed here, taken from this plant, part of the plant. This test tube, now you can see here, this is the medium. Medium means the nutrient medium, we can say, means medium containing all the essential nutrients which a plant require to germinate, which a plant require for growth, right? From single cell, this cell will utilize all these nutrients from the nutrient medium, and then it will grow into a new plant. So as we are doing all this in the in vitro, in lab conditions, so we have to, first of all, we have to prepare the nutrient medium for that particular cell, right? And this is plugged with a cotton gauze here to avoid the entry of any other microorganisms. As we do all the in vitro practicals, we do in the controlled environment, in standard conditions, in optimum conditions, and in proper sterilized conditions. So after this, you can see this cell, it will grow completely into a new plantlet, right? After this, what is done? This plantlet, it is taken, removed from this test tube, and artificially it is grown in a soil. Artificial soil means directly it cannot be shifted to the natural field, soil in the field. Why? Because in that field, in that soil, maybe that nutrients, all the nutrients which we have given earlier, they are not sufficient, because naturally there will be competition. Others will also, other plants, so many plants will be there, and they will fight for that particular nutrients. So as a single plant, it was using here all the nutrients. The ability of will not be same in the natural condition. So we will first of all take this plant and just use artificial soil, means we have to enrich the soil with additional nutrients here, use the fertilizers and all here. Then after some time, after a week or near about 10 days, we will shift this to the natural environment gradually. So this is the complete outline of the tissue culture technique, how tissue culturing is done. So what are the conditions required? Essential conditions. First, I discussed nutrients in the nutrient medium, nutrients, then the environmental factors, then growth regulators. All these things are very, very essential for the successful accomplishment of this tissue culture technique. Nutrients, there are two types, macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are those which are required by the plants, you know it very well, in large amount, and micro are required by the plants in lesser amount as comparison to macronutrients. And this list of all these micro and macronutrients very clearly, but few I have given example, like the NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. These are the commonly used macronutrients used as fertilizers. Micronutrients, molybdenum, manganese, iron, all these will include constitute the micronutrients, right? So all these are required in a balance for the proper germination of that cell. In that nutrient medium, we can add other things we will add, like the sucrose we can add into the medium. It will be as a carbon source, and we have to just little bit, it should not be like liquid medium, semi-solid. So we can use here the agar, you know it very well. Agar, it can be obtained also from the microorganisms, like in 11th class, I am in the second chapter, biological classification, I think you know that agar, it is obtained from the I think Gracilia, right? So many species are there from where we can obtain this semi-solid agar for the germination of the microorganisms, and here we can use it for the germination of this cell. Then after this, environmental factors, they are very, very essential. As you know, in natural environment, environmental factors, they play significant roles. All the plants, they need different temperature, different pH, different osmotic concentrations, then different light durations. You know it very clearly that the effect of light, like long day plants are there, short day plants are there, neutral plants are there. So optimum these conditions are required for the proper growth of particular plant, right? Then very important, last, growth regulators. These are the plant hormones which are essential for the proper growth of the plants. All auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid, ethylene, all these are the this is the list of the plant growth regulators or the hormones which are also required in the very minute amount but necessary, right? They are very important to add you have to add these in the nutrient medium. So in this way, all these conditions should be kept in mind for the proper this completion of the tissue culture technique, right? Now the last I will discuss with you the applications where we apply this tissue culture technology. Benefits, advantages of this tissue culture technology. First, propagation in less time. Means by this tissue culture technique, now you can assume that we can grow large number of plants in very less time, right? So this method of growing plants, numerous plants, many plants in very less time, right, from a single cell, from you can say the plants, the tissue culture method is called the micropropagation, right? This method is called micropropagation, right? So simply means the large number of the plants can be grown in very less time, very short durations here. So now all these plants will be the plants raised by this method. Here I have taken one cell. We can place so many test tubes here, and so we can raise so many plants here. So if I have taken the cells from this part only, from this plant only, single plant only, and I have placed the cells in the similar 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 test tubes, then all the progeny, they all will be same as that of the parent plant, genetically similar with the parent plant. So all that we will give them name soma clones. Soma means body, clones means the similar, they are having the genetic makeup. So they are called the soma clones. So, right, these two terms are very important, micropropagation and the soma clones. Clear? Then second advantage is we can obtain disease-free plants. How we can, for example, this plant is virus affected, but the regions where apical regions, earlier I said we could take apical parts, apical regions, they are free from the viruses, they are free from the microorganisms, any kind of pathogen means. So while doing this technique, we take only the cells from the apical regions, and they have the ability to divide. Meristematic tissue, we take the cells from the meristematic tissue. You know the property of the meristematic tissue, that the cells are actively dividing, and so we use axillary apical buds, they can be used. Axillary bud is this one and apical bud is this one. So by this method, banana, sugarcane, potato, etc., they are raised nowadays successfully by tissue culture methods, by this meristem. So this is all about the tissue culture technique, right? Then after this somatic hybridization, little concept is given last in the last of this chapter. What is somatic hybridization? This is also very important. Now somatic hybridization, it means the simply we can say this is also the application, the application of this tissue culture technique. Here the single cells, they are isolated from the plants. For example, I have taken this cell from one plant, this cell from another plant, from the two different plants. After that, they are their cell walls, plant cells, we are talking about the plant cells, so obviously they are having the cell walls. Cell walls, they are digested by using various enzymes. So after the digestion of the cell walls, they are having the plasma membrane inside. After the cell wall, there will be plasma membrane. So their plasma membranes, they will be just fused together. Two cells will fuse together along with their plasma membranes, and after some time, this cell will become a round shaped cell, and one membrane will be formed by uniting the two cells, plasma membrane, and inside will be the cell contents. So in this way, we have just made this hybrid, right? Hybrid protoplast, because this is called the protoplastic fusion, right? So here it is formed hybrid protoplast, right? And it is obtained from the two different cells from the two different plants. So in this way we can obtain a somatic hybrid, and again then after this we can grow the somatic hybrid like the tissue culture technique same, and we can raise the new plant, right? So in this way means the different type of plant can be obtained, different, not genetically similar with any one of the parent. Example is given pomato, which is produced by this method, somatic hybridization method technique, by the combination of, here is a combination of tomato and potato, but it is not having this successfully produced, but commercially it cannot be used because it is not having desired combination of characters. So this is all about this topic, somatic hybridization, and so we have done the last topic of this chapter, tissue culture, right? So with this, thank you.